All right, guys, what's up? This is Harley here. We're bringing you some winter meeting recap. This is baseball rant number 3. If y'all didn't see my last one, it was about Giancarlo Stanton to the Yankees. Go check that out. Has over 100, about 140 views right now. So we did pretty good with that video. So we're coming back with more, a little better over here. Got some of my friends over here. Got my friend Sam, my friend Pete. You guys can say hi, say what's up.
Going on? What's up?
All right, so this week was the winter meetings, and we got some stuff that went down. Uh, I wouldn't say anything too crazy went off. I don't know if you guys disagree with me. I don't think anything too crazy went off in the winter meetings.
Nothing, nothing too crazy. Pretty tame actually for the winter meetings. I figured this would be, I mean, other than this, the Stanton trade, obviously.
Yeah, but I'd say that was a little post like before.
In the last week, no, nothing really too big.
No, I wouldn't say like last year in the winter meetings, the Red Sox acquired Chris Sale, so I mean that was pretty crazy.
Usually it's a pretty busy time, but more than anything, people have just been going out and signing relievers.
Yeah, relievers, a couple,
Last week.
like low end position players. Nobody like superstar. You know, we got a lot of big names on the board still, like JD and Hosmer and all that good stuff.
A lot of good pitching out there still too. Darvish, Arrieta, Lance Lynn,
Oh yeah,
Alex
yeah.
Cobb. If you're trying to spend a little bit less.
True. I mean, I heard Alex Cobb kind of wants $20 million a year, but I mean,
Is that accurate?
yeah, I've seen a couple reports saying that that's the kind of money he wants. I mean, what is Jeff Samardzij's average annual value? I mean, I'm
Wait,
pretty
what?
like Jeff Samardzija.
Samardzija, he's real hit or miss. It really depends. I
Well,
mean,
his contract per year. I mean, I think he making like
contract. It's like
15
like
mil.
15, 16 a year,
I mean,
something like that.
Alex Cobb is better than him. I mean,
Yeah,
he's a
I
little
don't think
younger
you really
too.
compared contract you're trying to get with bad contracts that have been handed out in the last few years.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I mean that's what he's been said, you know. Um, so I would say we had a couple big signings today with Zach Cozart and what's his name, Carlos Santana. Carlos Santana to the
Yeah.
Phillies. I don't think you were a big fan of that.
I really like Carlos Santana. I felt like he would have been perfect at first base for the Mets. Not your traditional leadoff hitter, but really good on base skills. He can hit like 260. He would have been the perfect fit, batting first or second for the Mets. I mean, I didn't think they were going to give him about $60 million, but disappointing to see him go to a division rival, even if it doesn't really make sense. Phillies are now moving Reese Hoskins to left field, if you didn't hear.
Really?
Yeah, full time.
Okay.
Always good to keep that lefty popper in the lineup, though. I can hit a home run.
Yeah, I feel like they could have waited to sign somebody. I just don't see it. They're not really going to compete this year. I mean, I heard they're still linked to Manny Machado, but I mean, I just don't see them competing all too much this year.
White Sox are the biggest name for Machado right now, right?
Yeah, that is true. We got the White Sox in there. Cardinals, we're looking at them too. Cardinals are
Cardinals
also
really
linked.
need a third baseman.
They do.
They'd be a really good fit for Machado or even Moustakis. Moustakis makes a lot of sense going to St. Louis.
I heard them linked to Donaldson, but the Blue Jays, they're not too into it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If I'm Toronto, I'm not letting go of Donaldson.
Even in a walk year. I mean, I don't see how, in my
I
opinion.
feel like Donaldson is kind of a Blue Jay. I don't think they're that far from not necessarily contending. But
Maybe
I
a
think they're
wild
pretty
card
close
spot.
to building another playoff team. Maybe winning a series or two, and then who knows?
Yeah. I mean, it's just with the acquisition of Giancarlo Stanton, and now Boston is linked to wanting to sign J.D. Martinez and Eric Hosmer. It's just hard for me to see that the Orioles compete next year and Toronto compete next year. Like, my opinion, I feel like Orioles, they have a ton of people that are going to free agency next year, like Adam Jones, Manny Machado. I'm not sure, but the closer Britton, I don't think is he a free agent next year? No,
I'm not sure. It might be the year after next.
because I know Britton is a free agent next year, and maybe O'Day. It's one of their relief pitchers. I can look it up.
I think Darren O'Day has like 2 years left. I'm pretty sure.
But I know Britton definitely is. That's three like pretty good players right there. You're looking at, and probably not gonna come back. I mean, maybe Adam Jones. I could see that because that's just like that he's like the kind of the face of that franchise for the last
He's
10
been
years.
the face of them for a while.
Yeah, so.
From that classic Eric Bedard trade, man.
He's been there forever.
So.
What was that? 2007 was that trade?
He's been the face of the Orioles and the Yankee killer for a little while now, for a good amount of time now.
Yeah, I can.
Read another report about Machado that he wants to go to the Giants, and that's very interesting. Not that he wants to go there. Obviously.
So there's
they have a lot of cap space right now, or not cap space, fucking.
True. No cap space there. I mean, they were in on Giancarlo Stanton, but he obviously didn't want to go there.
I don't really understand why. I mean, obviously he ended up in a much better situation.
I just feel like they're on the up and up, kind of like they're not. Their roster isn't too like, oh, we're gonna make the playoffs, you know, and they're in the division with the Dodgers. So obviously you're probably thinking the Giants, they're probably gonna be a wild card team. He doesn't want to be on another, you know, oh, if we win like 4 more games, we could have made the wild card type of team, you know. So I feel like that had to do with it. I mean, like if the Dodgers, you know, the first team to send a trade and the Marlins accepted it, it would have been a Dodger or any other team that was pretty good.
The Cardinals, if you add Stanton to that lineup, turn into a contender, I think. I mean, who are they behind in the NL?
Cubs.
The NL Central rather than the Cubs.
Cubs.
Also
I mean,
look like they might take a step back.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. You mean you got Schwarber there. He might bust out this year. Baez had a pretty good year. Give him another full year under his belt. He might be a little better hitting wise. He has a lot of power.
I always loved him as a player.
Yeah.
He's like one of my favorite players for whatever reason.
His defense is great.
He can just do everything. He's a great defender. He's really quick. He has a ton of power.
I mean, I just feel like
when he gets his hands ready.
Yeah. But I'm not too sure. Like with the Giancarlo, I mean, I'm happy he's a Yankee. Y'all know that I'm a Yankee fan. My favorite player, but I don't see where else he would have really went. I mean, I felt like maybe if Cleveland sent a trade, he might have. I mean, I wouldn't understand why he wouldn't have wanted to go there. But the 4 teams they said were obviously like 100-win caliber teams, except for the Yankees at the time. Because what was it? It was Houston, which can definitely win 100 games. Dodgers, who could have won 100 games. It was 4 teams. Yankees, and what was the 4th team?
Was it San Francisco?
No, because he didn't want to go
there.
there.
He declined to trade to San Francisco and St. Louis.
Probably didn't want to go to California because it's on fire.
Topical.
R.I.P. But the Dodgers, I mean, they were probably his number one right there. I'm trying to think. What was the 4th team on that one? Stanton's 4 teams. Let me check. But, okay, so we got some topics to get into. I don't know what you want to start off talking about first.
I mean, how about Manny Machado?
We could talk about Manny Machado. I mean,
there's not really a whole lot going on surrounding him at this point other than a lot of torrid speculation that Baltimore is or is not trading him, or the Yankees are or are not getting him.
In my opinion, I don't think the Yankees are going to get him. I think if he gets traded, he's going to be traded knowing that, you know, he's staying at the place, or at least not going to the Yankees. I don't think they'll trade him any other way. You know, Angelos is the owner of the Orioles, and he is very, very reluctant to trade him because he does not want him to go to the Yankees this season. He does not want to help them. Yeah, he does not want to help them.
Now, who do you think that realistically leaves for Machado then?
I would say if
the Yankees are taken out of it completely by any trade, like if the only chance for the Yankees to get Machado is through free agency next year, and Machado's almost definitely going to be traded before then, who realistically could get him?
Quick side note: Stanton's 4th team was the Cubs. Maybe. I mean, if you think about it, Dodgers are always in on that type of stuff. Maybe, you know.
Yeah, but Justin Turner, I mean.
Well, you would probably move Justin Turner to second base, put Corey Seager at third base, and let Machado run short.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about Seager at third, shortstop as well. So.
But I mean, he profiles. I hear he profiles more as a third baseman in the future.
Going forward, yeah, but his defense has also been way better than expected in the major league. So.
But you have Machado at, you know, he could play world class defense. You let him play shortstop.
and he only wants to play shortstop.
Yeah, he's only going to sign if he's playing shortstop.
Exactly. So I
if
mean,
that being the case, obviously whoever's signing him is giving him shortstop. That's why I think the perfect landing spot for Machado, unrealistically, is my New York Mets, and it might just be me being a homer, but right off the bat, they can offer Ahmed Rosario. If you're talking about shortstops, offer up one of the premium shortstop prospects in baseball. He's not a prospect anymore, technically, but, I mean, the kid showed that he has some pop, he has a lot of speed, and he plays great defense.
mm-hmm.
Just start off with a package, starting with him. No one's going to give you a better piece than Ahmed Rosario, guaranteed.
He's a top prospect also around the base. Everyone loves him around baseball. Ahmed Rosario.
Oh, yeah, he's been a top 5 prospect the last 2 years. He was incredible in AAA last year. He's been incredible the last few years.
He's definitely a coveted item around baseball.
I mean, I don't know if you'd be able to get him straight up, but...
No, I doubt that. I mean, but the thing
Ahmed
is, it's just you're giving up for 1 year.
He's like another Gleyber Torres.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ahmad Rosario's little call-up last year. He had about 165 at-bats. Hit about 248, wasn't terrible, but for his first taste of the majors, you can't really expect that much, unless you want him to light the world on fire.
He didn't walk. He struck out like 30% of the time, walked 2% of the time, but he showed some good skills, He showed that he could hit some home runs. He had a couple triples.
He's a smooth defender, man.
And he's
smooth shortstop.
As natural as they come. I mean, he's the kind of guy that in 3 or 4 years is a perennial Gold Glove candidate.
I agree. But realistically, the Mets are not making that type of move. And
no, they're not.
I mean,
they would never...
they did have a nice little signing, to their credit, with Anthony Swarzak, 2 years, $14 million.
One of the better free agent reliever moves so far.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be their closer, obviously, but like a nice little mid to late setup man type of thing going on there. His career doesn't tell you all that much, but last year he did improve a lot.
I mean, his velocity jumped up. He changed up his slider, and I mean, he's getting further and further removed from a 2012 rotator cuff surgery that really sapped a lot of his velocity, and he's back up to what he used to be.
Yeah, and they still have some holes to fill over there, and hopefully those holes aren't filled by a league minimum contract of Jose Reyes. I mean, I can very well see that happening, but I mean, I hope for you guys and the fans' sake, that's not it. Because that would be pretty bad. I feel like if your best signing is Swarzak.
I don't think it will be. I don't think Kipnis is imminent, but I mean, it seems to be gaining some traction.
Cleveland that is
probably wants to clear that contract. He's making $31 million over the next 2 years. I think 15 this year and 16 next, and he has a club option for 16.5 the year after.
Yeah, and he's not a terrible player. He's not a terrible player.
If the Mets are gonna take a chance on somebody at second base, Castro might cost a little bit. I'm not really too sure about him hitting 300 again with 20 plus home runs.
And 20 steals that year.
I would 100% take Jason Kipnis for. I mean, I've heard Rafael Montero plus maybe some prospects. I don't know exactly what it would take, but as long as you're not giving up a key piece to your farm system or your major league team for Jason Kipnis, then 100% I'm on board with it.
Yeah.
I also think Bruce has a decent shot of coming back if the market dies down for him, which doesn't really seem to be one at all at this point.
I don't know why nobody wants him. He had a great year last year.
Well, I mean, I feel like a lot of people are trying to find people that. I know, obviously, Bruce last year wasn't just a power hitter. He was actually quite a good hitter. But I feel like a lot of people want to go younger a little bit because I know he's like, what, his 30, 31?
I believe he's 31 right now.
Something like that.
I can bring up his numbers real quick. I mean, Jay Bruce had a great year last year, went to the freaking Cleveland Indians and kind of lit on fire for them for their first
It's phenomenal. He was absolutely phenomenal.
Month there.
Guy though, I feel like he's dying down around baseball. I mean, it's back up last year because of all the home runs, but as far as the 35, 40 home run, 220 guy, I feel like a lot of teams are less likely to go after that as a free agent or somebody to trade at this point.
I mean, if you look at it,
Bruce is a little bit better than your 220, 230 bopper, but
Well, I mean, last year he hit about 250, 36 home runs, 101 RBIs.
It wasn't a career year. It's his best year.
No. And he's also 30. But at the end of the day, you're not going to, people are kind of reluctant to give money like that around. I mean, I could see him very well signing a contract like Carlos Santana just signed. I mean, Carlos Santana is, I think, old. Isn't he older?
Carlos Santana's about 30 as well.
And I mean, not the same exact per se, but about $15 million a year. I can definitely see Jay Bruce getting signed.
There's no way I can see Jay Bruce getting $20 million a year. Not in this market. I mean, look at Trumbo last year. Trumbo led the AL in home runs and got a 3-year, $45 million deal from Baltimore. That's nothing compared to the market for big time hitters nowadays.
Well, if he gets $15 million a year, I can see that.
Chris Carter couldn't get a job. Yanks picked him up as a pickup guy last minute a couple years ago.
$2 million.
Jay Bruce is a much better hitter and player overall than Chris Carter.
Well, Jay Bruce, to be fair, doesn't play a terrible outfield right now anyway.
I mean, last year he didn't. Generally, he does. I mean, that was one of my biggest qualms about signing him. You sign him and you put him in right field and city field, and he doesn't know what he's doing. He has a great arm, but he's lost a lot of the range that made him a very good defender and made him able to handle center early in his career.
And in the National League, he has to play right field every day, and can't sit him down for a couple days.
But what I really like about signing Jay Bruce, I'd do something like 2 years, 30, 35 million for him, but the thing that I really, really like about Bruce is you can easily slide him over to first base against tough righties, and get Nimmo in the lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, Nimmo's going to be starting to start the year regardless because of Conforto, but when everyone's healthy, Jay Bruce or Conforto, Jay Bruce or Nimmo or Lagares is going to be sitting.
Yeah.
Jay Bruce is just sitting on side right now?
Yeah, Jay Bruce has not really a whole lot of action around him either.
No, he doesn't. There's not a lot of teams around his name right now. I don't think there's a single, like, if you look up Jay Bruce right now, I don't think there's a single team linked to him to, like, in past, like, just initial, like, hey, Jay Bruce, let's talk.
I would say the Yanks if they didn't just pick up Giancarlo.
I mean, it would be a nice little DH option.
Especially left-handed hitter in Yankee Stadium. He hit 40 homers there.
I mean, he's still linked to the Indians.
Always feasted against the Yankees as well. Always feasted.
Yeah, I mean, he's linked to the Indians, linked to the Giants as the backup plan. Jay Bruce to the Giants backup plan.
Now that Santana's off the market and Cleveland can't re-sign him, I could 100% see Cleveland trading Kipnis to try to offset his salary and just giving that salary straight back to Jay Bruce.
I could see that too. I mean, Jay Bruce, he played a little first base for them last year too. He doesn't even have to play outfield. He played a little first base.
No, he was very solid at first base. In fact, I'd say he probably has more of a future at first than right field at this point.
I can see that. Now,
I think Bruce is going to be a really, really underrated signing for some team. I think that, and if I'm the Mets, I'm getting Kipnis, and I'm getting one of Jay Bruce or I don't know. I can't really say Moustakas at this point if you get Kipnis, because then Asdrubal Cabrera is kind of displaced at third base, and he's good enough to start at second.
Yeah.
That's another you can do also. If you forego getting a second baseman completely, throw some money at Moustakas. Or I would not like this, but even Todd Frazier, if you give him 3 years, whatever. But
I mean, you could give Todd Frazier like 3 years, $35 million, and I bet he'd probably sign.
I doubt it. Apparently he's looking for something similar to Carlos Santana. I was reading today that.
Really? I don't think he gets that.
350, 60. I could totally see Frazier doing that.
I don't know. I mean, maybe like 40, 42.
The thing is, Frazier's a very good defender.
He is. And he's a good base runner, too.
If a team's looking at his advanced stats from last year, he didn't strike out a ton. He walked a lot.
He's good clubhouse presence.
Could be fluky, but
he's also the heart and soul of the Yanks in those playoffs. He's a big.
He's a good clubhouse guy. A lot of Yankees people come out and say that. Very good in the clubhouse.
Player.
And not only that, but he's been worth at least a 3 WAR basically for the last 3, 4, 5 years. He's been a very good player.
He doesn't really do anything that bad.
I mean, he just doesn't. He hits like 200. Yeah, he hits like 200, 215 topping out.
that he's just solid across the board.
But
Defense.
I mean, last year he had 474 at bats and only had 101 hits. I mean, and he was still a 3.4 WAR player.
That's my point. He's still a very valuable guy, and if you look at his BABIP, it's really low.
And if you
way
look at his
lower than you'd expect, and that's because he's making way more soft contact than he ever has. He's still, but he's okay. But I can totally see him either falling off or getting back to his Cincy numbers with the right team and hitting like 40 home runs, hitting 260, which makes him a 5 WAR guy.
Ooh, Giants trade Matt Moore to the Rangers.
Yeah, as we're talking right now, the Giants just traded Matt Moore to the Texas Rangers.
For some prospects. I'm not, there's probably no names in that right now. But,
yeah, not yet.
I mean, Todd Frazier, he had, 213 last year, but his on-base percentage was 344. So, I mean, he's doing something right there. OPS is below 800. I mean, he's a good player. You're not going to sign him to be your number 3 or 4 hitter, maybe your 6, 7.
He's a guy that's going to save you 5 to 10 runs a year on one side of the ball and hit you 35 home runs a year on the other side.
Okay.
And hopefully walk to 10 to 12% of the time. Because if he doesn't, then he's getting on base under 30% of the time, and that's really detrimental and not worth anything.
Yeah. Now,
Moore, the lefty kid who came up in the Rays system, right?
Yeah, top prospect for a long time.
I thought he was going to be great. He had some injury
issues. He had a lot of their pitchers that you thought were going to be so great. Everybody like Cobb and Matt Moore and Odorizzi.
Whatever happened to
even
what's the other kid? Hellickson?
Yeah.
Jeremy Hellickson.
He went to Houston, didn't he?
He kind of bounced around a lot. He most recently played for
Orioles. He was in the Orioles last year.
That's what it was.
And he was terrible.
He wasn't very good.
He pitched really well for the Phillies that 1 year.
But he played terrible last year.
Yeah, he got knocked around by the Yankees a couple times. I remember that now.
Now, speaking of, people acquiring new players, the Angels, man, what is to say about them? They just brought in Ian Kinsler, Zach Cozart. They got Shohei Ohtani, even though that's his own little topic right there. Got partial hurt UCL. Could use Tommy John in the near future, maybe, if it gets hurt anymore. But
wait, I'm just gonna overrule this offer for just 1 second, and can I just bring up this nonsense? Shohei Ohtani on Yahoo, you can either draft him as a hitter or draft him as a pitcher, but you cannot draft him as both.
Yeah, that's pretty pathetic. I would draft him as a pitcher.
That doesn't make sense. The guy's doing 2 things.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, it's hard. If you think about it, he could be the number 1 pick for some people if they're gonna get 2 players basically for him.
Right. That's.
So as far as like pitchers, if a pitcher hits a home run, you don't get points for that.
No.
Never. So
No.
like Madison Gardner, you never get points for his homers.
Nope, never. Madison Bumgarner, in the year that I was a runner-up in our fantasy league, he hit 7 home runs that year.
And you get
I didn't get a single one.
No.
That's lame, man. That should be something that's featured. Or they should they should call it the Ohtani rule.
The Ohtani rule in fantasy, right?
It should integrate that into fantasy baseball because that's not right.
Real frustrating though. Shohei Ohtani
That's the whole.
not being a double player.
That's his whole allure. That's the whole reason That's why everybody's so interested in him.
Yeah, but fantasy, it's his own little thing. I wouldn't say little, but
I don't think it's gonna work out. By the way, that whole idea.
I mean,
I think he's gonna hit like 20 home runs a year because he has that power. But he struck out 30% of the time in Japan.
That's not good. Man.
He's gonna K like 45% of the time.
I think he's a glorified Madison Bumgarner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't even think that. That's also like Madison Bumgarner hits, man. Like.
Yeah, but Shohei Ohtani, like, you can't really take. He has a lot of power. A lot of power.
I understand.
He can hit 20 home runs.
I understand he's highly touted for a reason. There's a reason why everybody wanted him for that much money. But at the same time, a lot of times those guys are just the pitching is not the same over there. It's not, and neither is it. It's a different game.
But Ohtani does touch. He does touch 100. I think his pitching's going to be legit.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of power, I guess, but I mean, in about 1,000 career at bats, he's only hit 48 home runs in Japan.
And also, too, those 100-mile-an-hour guys in the major leagues get knocked around a lot. Like, they leave the ball over the plate and they give up home runs. Kyle Farnsworth would give up home run after home run.
Well, Well, yeah, but they're totally different comparisons.
He's a little seasoned there. I mean, you think about him last
But there's so
pretty.
many guys like Farnsworth that you can say that about. I mean, there's plenty. AJ Burnett was the nastiest stuff you could think of, and the guy would get knocked around because he would just leave the ball over the plate.
But still, you can go to any guy that's ever thrown 100 and been wild or got hit around and say that.
Nathan Eovaldi, look at him. I mean, he was a Yankee
Another
2
guy.
years ago. But
I just want to know what happens, regardless of his performance at this point. I want to know what's going on with Ohtani's injury, and I want to know what the Angels do about it, because I'm sure they're not going to forfeit anything or.
No, because at the end of the day,
Ohtani,
you got Ohtani and you got him for the league minimum. He's a minor league contract. You didn't get him. He didn't come over here when he was 26 like Tanaka did, and didn't get Tanaka got 8 years, $150 million. He got.
Tanaka got a pretty absurd amount of money plus the posting fee.
Tanaka also lit up the World Baseball Classic every year, so that's why.
I mean, Tanaka has been a pretty.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan.
He's been called the Babe Ruth of Japan for 4 years now.
But he's only 22, Ohtani. So you got to think of it like that. He's 22 years old. He's not.
22. I thought he was 26.
No, bro, he's 22. If he was 26, he would have just got like $250 million from some team.
I did not know he was that.
He's 22 years old, guys. I mean, he started.
That changes the entire perspective.
That's right. That's why the posting rules were a little.
We're different for him. He's 22 years old. He's what 2 years older than me, same age as you guys.
Yeah, same.
1995, man.
I mean, he's a kid.
He has that game changer, generational type talent. I don't doubt that. If he can curb his strikeout problems, if he can just patch up that hole in his bat.
In my opinion, I think
20 home runs. I think he can hit 260, be like a league average type hitter, and then be just a great, maybe number 2, even number 1 guy if he really pans out. But he has that type of talent.
He does.
No doubt.
But at the end of the day, I feel like after about 1 to 2 years of him trying to hit here, you might see it costing his pitching a little bit. That's just how I feel about it.
Right, and I think that's also a concern of mine. Will his hitting ever justify actually having him hit? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So because at the end of the day, there was a thing I remember.
If he's not a league average hitter, then there's no reason to really have him hitting.
Like with Tanaka when he first came over and they started doing workouts in spring training, he was like, wow, this is hard. Like I've ran more here than I've basically ran in Japan. If the one spring training, it's harder over here. You got to pitch every 5 days, not every 7 days. It's every 5 days, and the schedule is a lot more grueling. I'm pretty sure you play more games in MLB than you do in Japan. I think Japan might be 80 something, 100 something. I'm not too sure. I knew
from Tanaka that they pitch once a week instead of once every 5th day. It's once every.
Yeah, it's once a week. He's gonna pitch maybe sometimes twice a week. At the end of the day, it's gonna be a lot harder, and he's gonna find it to be. I'm just gonna start pitching. I feel like after 1 to 2 years of him doing it, he's probably just gonna pan out as a pitcher, and hopefully he's a little better than Kenta Maeda, because that was kind of a flop last year because he was terrible last year. But other than that,
maybe everybody's hoping for. He paves the way for more players like this. I don't see it happening.
I mean, I would love to see more players come from other countries that are highly touted, like Japan, or maybe let's see more players from.
I'm just saying the idea of two-way players.
Yeah, I feel you with that.
You have to be a special player to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be one of the best.
If it does work out, you can see that this guy did it. It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, even if there's a guy who's like a 4-5 pitcher and like a 6 hitter.
That's not bad.
Imagine how valuable that'd be.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Yankees when he was at his best,
What, on either side?
Yeah, like when he was playing at his best level, that's what he was pretty much. 4 or 5, or was he a relief pitcher?
I'm pretty sure he was a relief pitcher. He might have started a little bit though.
But
He
played.
And then he played center field. He actually had a good year or two. He played for the Mets for a season, half a season.
He was blowing up when he first came in.
Yeah.
And then he.
I mean, he did have that cannon. That guy had unbelievable arms.
They tapped out that crazy.
And when he was pitching, he was coming close to 100.
Yeah. But, it just goes to show that the Angels right now are trying to put a lot of talent around Mike Trout as their building block.
Jose Reyes was once clocked at 93 throwing off a mound, I think, or like 90.
Well, all these players, I think they could, if they really wanted to, they could throw about 90 something, 95, like off a mound.
Trout needs that. Trout's the best player in the game for a reason.
He is the best player in the game, and they really just
best player in the last decade. Maybe,
yeah.
Maybe the best player.
The only person you could compare him to right now, as in being the best player in the past 10 years or whatever, would be Clayton Kershaw, and he's a pitcher.
But Kershaw's legendary in his own right too.
Yeah, I mean those two are once in a legacy, no, there's not gonna be another players like him, like them.
Back 30 years from 2017, that's 1987. You think of another guy that's like Mike Trout besides maybe Ken Griffey?
Mike Trout's average season in his career right now, his average is 310. His OPS is 980 with 37 or 33 home runs and 27 steals. That's his average career season right now.
A-Rod when he was younger, I mean.
Alex Rodriguez comparable, but yeah, I mean, you say that he starts taking roids in Texas, like that's when you know he did, but
yeah.
I always was one of those guys who would be a Yankee fan myself who said that he was probably doing it from the job. I mean, he did get a lot bigger, but that's also when he became more, you got 25 years old, so you're more of a man when you're in Texas.
Right.
But I think that there was a story about him winning like a jacket in high school, and he won a bench press competition, benched 400 something pounds at 16 or something like that. And it's like, how are you gonna do that when you're 16 years old? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Not all these guys too. Like Bonds would be an MVP if he didn't. He won MVP without the roids in a lot of ways. Like you got to be a great player, but if you take the roids, it makes you the best player.
Yeah. Does he hit 73 home runs in a season? No.
Not even close, but he'd still be a great player.
Right.
Now, how do you guys feel about the Angels lineup, even though there's only one left-handed hitter in that lineup?
It's definitely a weakness, but I mean,
it doesn't matter.
I just look at their lineup right now. I mean, against righties, you have Valbuena in there too. He's a switch hitter. He'll get in against.
Yeah,
lefties,
but Valbuena was terrible last year.
Who is their lefty bat?
Calhoun.
Cole Calhoun.
And he's not he's like a number 2 hitter, maybe a number 7 hitter. He's not gonna be your middle of the lineup type of hitter. And Luis Valbuena was terrible last year. He hit 199. On base was 294. Guy was just he's 69 hits and 347 at bats.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's great, but that at least gives him something else.
Oh, it gives him a little change of pace. I feel you, but
I mean, it's definitely a big weakness. But,
no, it definitely is. But
honestly, it's looking like they're not going to give up any runs. Look at their defense. Cozart at third base, Simmons at shortstop, Kinsler at second base.
I mean, even Kinsler had a down year last year.
At any given against lefties, righties.
Yeah. It's just I feel like Kinsler had a down year last year too, 236.
Yeah, Kinsler was still about close to average.
I mean, he was a 2-WAR player, but at the end of the day, you kind of expect a little more from him, per se. But he's getting old.
They're probably gonna get more from him.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure he had a couple of injuries last year, and wasn't the healthiest, and playing for a crappy team. But how many games did he play? 139. He usually plays about 150, 100 something like that. But other than that, I mean, the team, they're trying to come back, and they just got their. Hopefully, he pitches like an ace. But then you got Garrett Richards trying to come back from a couple injuries. Andrew Heaney, the lineup. That's a pretty good team right now. I don't think they could win the AL West, but I think they're very competitive, maybe for a wild card spot right now. They were last year.
Them scooping a wild card spot.
I mean, when Trout came back last year, they were one game within a wild card spot. A full year of him.
Do you think Justin Upton's gonna?
And Justin Upton too. I mean, he had a great season last year, but the thing is, when does Justin Upton ever really become consistent? You've been saying this for a while. I mean, he's 29 right now, I think. How many times has he put up 2 great seasons in a row?
Not really ever. In fact, he's consistently, consistently puts up the numbers.
I mean,
He'll
2009.
have like 20-some home runs, 30-some home runs. He'll have some steals. Like it's not like he doesn't do anything. But last year he was really, really good.
I mean,
and his first career, he has a lot of
he's a good pop. And
250 all-time home runs. He has a 33 WAR. Like that's a great player.
Yeah.
He's a great all-time player.
He plays. I just
140 steals. Like he's had a very, very good career. But
yeah.
I mean, his season with the Tigers, his first season with the Tigers, he was not good. His season with the Padres, it was solid.
Yeah, his first season with the Tigers, it was the beginning of the year. It was terrible. He started coming in the end of the year. He ended up hitting 31 home runs and 87 RBIs, but it was more second half heavy.
But I mean, last year he was special. He really was a special player.
I mean, he hit 35 home runs, 109 RBIs, 273, 361 on base, slugged over 540. I mean, he was really good last year. OPS over 900.
Yeah, really, really good player.
Yeah, I mean, it complements him well. You know, he's gonna hit behind Trout. Then at 4 is probably gonna hit 4. Or do you think Pujols still hits 4?
Pujols should be batting higher than 7th in any lineup for the Angels this year, I think.
I mean, I could see him hitting 5th probably, but we'll see.
I mean, just they have Simmons.
Yeah, but Simmons really came into his own last year again.
Trout, Calhoun, and Ohtani. I mean, they're probably going to try to play Ohtani.
No, they said he's not going to hit his first year here.
They're really not going to have him hit at all?
I remember seeing that. He's not going to be. He's not going to. Oh, I think he's not going to play the field the first year here. He might DH maybe. I'm not sure.
I imagine them DHing him. I don't think he's going to play the field for a little bit.
Mike Sochet said in the press conference that he's going to be a two-way guy. They doesn't want to use him that way. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't take away that part of his game. I think everyone wants to see how he's going to do on either side of the ball.
Yeah.
So I don't imagine him. I don't think they're going to play him in the outfield much.
Maybe like you said, they'll just DH and pitch.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. They were talking about he's not going to play the field.
That's why you'd have Pujols playing first base
Yeah.
against lefties instead of DHing, because theoretically Ohtani's in that DH spot.
But to be honest, Andrelton Simmons had a really good offensive year last year.
He was great.
I mean, he was top 8 MVP candidate last year. Like that's confirmed. Like if you look at his awards on Baseball Reference, top 8 MVP finish.
Yeah, well he should have.
He finished behind Corey Kluber, Mookie Betts.
He's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was obviously Altuve and then Rise Aaron Judge.
It wasn't Trout. He didn't play enough, did he?
No, Trout finished 4th.
Trout was 4th, and who was who finished 3rd? Who was in the
Jose Ramirez,
finals?
Aaron Judge,
Oh, no, that's right.
and
Jose
Altuve.
Ramirez.
Yeah.
Jose Ramirez had a great year too.
I mean, he had a 6.9 WAR. That's just really good. Andrelton Simmons was a little higher though. Even Nelson Cruz finished top 10.
He's been very well. He played very well too in Seattle since he came there.
So what else?
Nelson Cruz has been good.
Good hitter. Great DH.
But what about we haven't talked about it yet, but free agent reliever market is kind of bonkers.
Yeah, a lot of people are getting signed.
Just look at this. In the last week, Rondon signed 2.85 or 2 for 8.5 mil to Houston. Neshek went 2 years, 16.5 mil with a 3rd-year option, 7 mil to the Phils. Swarzak, Jake McGee, Ryan Shaw, Fernando Rodney, Morrow, Gregerson. The list goes on about with all these relief pitchers signing, man.
Yeah.
Sitzek, Joe Smith, Mike
Fernando
Meyer,
Rodney.
Juan Nicasio. Kinsler went back to the Nats.
Yusmeiro Petit, 2-year contract. Mike Minor got a 3-year contract. But they're gonna
Mike Minor got 30 mil from Texas.
Yeah, they said that they're gonna try to use him as a starter, but if not, he'll go back to the bullpen.
He was just so dominant in the bullpen. He used to be a good starter. He's very talented.
I mean, he got hurt though. He got really hurt. Like, I think like because he was in the Braves organization for a little while. They had like a nice little rotation going there with him, Chris Medlin, and all them. They all had like one really good year together, and then they all got hurt,
Yeah.
which
They
kind of
did have
sucked.
a nice little squad down there.
They did, and then like I said, they all got hurt. So
That might have been the year that they had that epic.
The Mets collapse.
Yeah, that epic collapse. With
Yeah.
the same year the Red Sox did as well.
So yeah, look at it. I mean, there's a lot of players still on the board that have not signed.
Yeah, they're all, I mean, pretty much all the big ones. Yu Darvish, JD Martinez, Eric Hosmer, Jake Arrieta, Mike Moustakas, most of the big names.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Cain's still there, Wade Davis.
Still real early.
I mean, you got
Jake
Lance
Bruce.
Lynn. I mean, AJ Griffin is a free agent still. I mean, I can see somebody picking him up on the low. Who else? I mean, Giovanni Gallardo. That was a big name a few years ago.
Sabathia would be a nice pickup for a team that needs just like a 3-4 guy.
I think he goes back to the Yankees, but we'll see.
I mean, I don't see him leaving either, but
it's hard to see.
If someone offers him enough money,
maybe. I mean, the big thing is a lot of people are like Yonder Alonso. I mean, last year that just got me so mad. Everybody's saying Yonder Alonso's breakout year. Yonder Alonso this. The guy after
Yonder
May,
Alonso, you know that.
yeah, after May he hit like 220 the whole season. Everybody's talking about a breakout year. I mean, he hit really good May and April and May, but after that he was terrible.
Fell apart, and it was so
Terrible.
predictable.
I mean, we can go through his freaking splits last year, man. I mean,
his final line was really good too. 28 home runs,
67 RBIs.
850 OPS. Like, he had a really good year if you look at it, but
You look at his
doesn't
splits, they're
really
terrible.
tell the whole story on Yonder Alonso.
I mean, in May he hit 279, April hit 279, May hit 303, and then he hit 267, 227, and it just, I mean, August he hit 286, decent, but he only played in 4 games that year. He only played 4 games in August. Then you just keep going, man. It's just bad. It's bad.
I'm not really a fan of his at all. A guy that I really do like.
Finishing line again?
His finishing line was he hit 28 home runs, 67 RBIs, 266 average, a 365 on base, and an 866 OPS. And not bad line. But he just fell off the cliff, and everybody just kept talking about this guy like he was a savior or something. Like, oh, he's broken out. He's going to be a freaking stud.
Yeah,
and then he
finally cashing in on the potential of his draft year.
Goes to the Mariners and freaking post All-Star break hit 230. On base was still pretty high, 356. Slugging was a 377, which is not good.
So he was like a below average offensive player, which he pretty much was his entire career.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's like, oh, he broke out. He finally did it. Not really.
Version of what Aaron Judge did.
I mean, Aaron Judge went from being the best player in baseball to one of the worst.
Yeah, I mean,
He was still walking at that point.
He was walking. He was hitting the occasional home run, and then he had a really good September.
Now, are you guys surprised Matt Adams got released from the Braves? He had a pretty good season with the Braves last year, and he got released.
Matt Adams is the guy that
Cap dump. It's another Marlins type move. I don't want to pay for anybody.
I mean, he had 271 for them with a 315 on base and hit 19 home runs in 100 games with them. I mean, he's pretty
a guy
solid.
That I honestly like a lot. I mean, I don't think he's a great player by any.
I mean, no, he's not a star, not even all-star caliber, but he's a good, decent guy, man. 29 years old. He's not too old. Give him like a 2-year contract to be on a team somewhere. I can see like the freaking Rays signing him for some reason.
I can see him going somewhere and having a nice little year.
Kind of like how Adam Lind went to the Milwaukee Brewers a couple years ago and had a pretty good year.
Adam Lind didn't he just have a really nice year on the Nationals too?
I don't know if it was. I wouldn't say. I don't know. I'll check. I got the stats right here.
Who was the other guy that Blue Jays had with Adam Lind?
Last year he hit 303 with 14 home runs and 59 RBIs. Adam Lind did.
Yeah, he had
What was the season? One more time.
He hit 14 home runs, 59 RBIs in 116 games, but hit 303 with a 362 on base and a 513 slugging, 875 OPS.
That's a good year, man.
Yeah, it was a pretty good year, man. I mean, he's a good hitter. I mean, he's always shown that he's been a pretty good hitter, though. But he can't really hit lefties all too well, so that's why.
Well, no.
Yeah.
No, but
To be fair.
You throw him against some righties, he'll get you 10, 15 home runs a year.
To be fair, you're probably facing righties 75% of the time in the majors as starting pitchers go. But
Well, he's not going to be a starting player anyway. But
no,
Adam
he'd be a
Lind's guy
platoon.
that-
I can see him
If the Mets
platooning.
don't want to commit any money to first base, then I'm 100% okay with just signing Adam Lind for $5 million or something, and then going Lind and Flores at first base.
Yeah, but knowing the Mets, they sign Adam Lind and he hits like 190. They release him. Somebody picks him up and then he hits like 350 the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Like with Chris Young a couple years ago when he came to the Yankees and like lit the freaking clubhouse on fire. Hit like 8 home runs in like what was it like
Chris Young?
15 games.
Yeah, Chris Young.
That was pretty
similar
crazy.
to the Dolphins getting rid of players like Sean Smith, corner, who just went to Kansas City and became one of the best corners in the game when he was not good at all in Miami. He would get toasted every play.
Wes Welker. We're getting off topic.
Yeah. Now, do you guys? What do you think? You know, Giancarlo Stanton to the Yankees. Boston needs to make a move. JD Martinez, Eric Hosmer, linked. If they want to sign both, do you think they get one or the other? Do you think they get both?
I think they're definitely. I think they're kind of a shoe-in for JD.
Is that Boston?
Yeah.
I think Boston's a shoe-in for JD Martinez. I don't know about Hosmer. I think Hosmer's totally contingent on them getting rid of Ramirez. But if they don't sign Hosmer, it doesn't necessarily mean they don't sign someone else.
Well, to be honest, if Ramirez would probably have to DH, and Hosmer would play first base, and then JD would play an outfield position, they would have to move somebody at the outfield.
I'm pretty sure that the Red Sox don't want to add another huge contract on top of Hanley's contract. I think they'd be more comfortable dumping Hanley before they would take on JD and Hosmer.
Well, do you think the Red Sox have it in them to do what the Yankees did when they acquired Chris Sale last year? And the Yankees stood pat and just were like, you know what, I'm going to trust the process. I don't think the Red Sox do that.
I mean, I don't think the Red Sox are good enough. And it's also, the Yankees are in a different situation. The Red Sox are trying to win. The Yankees weren't necessarily trying to win.
True, but, Not
that they weren't. But
yeah. No, I feel you. There was their quote-unquote rebuild.
They were rebuilding.
Yeah.
They're still going to put up a great team. They're still a contender.
Oh yeah, the Red Sox are still.
I mean, their offense was terrible last year. I mean, they finished last in the AL in power. I mean, they just couldn't hit the ball out the park. And the year before that, they were like first. I mean, missing Big Papi that much,
Mookie Betts had an off year. Jackie Bradley Jr. had an off year, I believe.
I mean, Jackie Bradley Jr. I mean, I think
I
he played.
I don't really know if he had an off year.
Yeah, I think that's more of what he gives you. Great defense, great arm, okay offense.
Yeah, like a solid average offensive player. Gets you 25 home runs, give you maybe like a 780 OPS. He's good. He's maybe a little bit above average.
Well, I would say 25 home runs in Boston, maybe not somewhere else. I mean, that pesky pole is like 290 feet away. That's besides the point.
I mean, he has a decent amount of power.
Yeah, no, I feel you, but I'm not a big guy on him.
Bogarts and Betts both had down years, I believe, last year. Also,
Bogarts did have he had a really good first half, and then just completely died. It was horrible in the second half.
Yeah.
But Benintendi had a really good year, 2020 year, hit 270. He's gonna take another step forward.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like the Yankees with the Giancarlo acquisition, they're just like, I just don't see Boston really like being up there with them. Like,
Chris Sale is a great. Chris Sale is amazing still.
Yeah, but they got David Price, Rick Porcello, and they were both flops last year. David Price has not looked good in a Red Sox uniform.
I mean, Boston.
They still have the potential to win a World Series.
They do.
Boston
If they get
has a solid team.
They
but
do.
They're definitely not the threat that
people thought they were last
like
year.
at the beginning of last year.
I mean, they got swept by the Astros. Or did they win one game? I'm not too sure. I mean, they didn't even make out the first round of the playoffs for the second year in a row. They got swept 2 years ago by the Indians.
I mean, that's a bigger concern. The Yankees, whether they win the division or not, that's not really the important thing.
Yeah.
The important thing is getting past teams like Houston, or the only other team, that you would say teams like that at this point is Houston. The Indians are not looking quite as good.
No,
but
they are
still
not.
have a very good team.
They do.
I'm not trying to doubt them at all.
Good bullpen, good pitching staff. Heard Danny Salazar linked in some trades, but
I mean, if you take away Jay Bruce from their team and take away Carlos Santana, then
they're gonna need to make a move.
They need to make a move. They need to re-sign Jay Bruce at this point, but I don't see them doing that without
moving Kipnis.
Yeah, without moving some salary. I don't think Cleveland's going to go in on another huge contract.
Yeah. But, it's just, what else you got going on? You mean Jake Arrieta's linked to the Nationals. I don't really see that being a fit. Wade Davis to the Nationals. Lorenzo Cain. I haven't really heard a lot of buzz around him.
No, I mean, a lot of the big guys you're not really hearing a lot about.
They usually wait until about, February. Not February, but, January to sign places and stuff. Nothing too.
Very good player.
I mean, he's not terrible. I mean, it's just nothing really around him. He's not in the headlights. I mean, at least you have logical fits for Moustakas, but other than that, I don't know.
Teams don't need a center fielder.
Well, I mean, but who has been linked to him? Royals. We want to re-sign him. Toronto, maybe. That's really it, man. I mean,
no, he's a solid player.
No, he's very good. Plays a decent defense, and give you 20 steals a year. I mean, he's never really stolen more than 25 bases a year. Royals, I'm not too sure. This is stupid. December 8th, 2017. Yankees potential free agent target Lorenzo Cain. That's stupid. December 8th. That was 7 days ago.
Lorenzo Cain's a guy that I would absolutely love the Mets to go out and get, but
yeah, I mean, the Mets they should sign somebody, but honestly, I just don't see it.
I would probably, it's tough with him now that I'm thinking about it, because he works perfectly in center field, but I really, really do believe in Juan Lagar's defense and hitting against lefties.
Yeah.
And if you supplement that with Brandon Nimmo sometimes, when Conforto's back and healthy. I mean, having Lorenzo Cain is not a bad problem. If Juan Lagar and Brandon Nimmo are your fourth and fifth outfielders, that's a very good Major League outfield. But I'm very high on Nimmo's development just over this past year.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not going to be great, I don't want them to not play someone that could be a big part of their future.
Yeah.
But I really think that someone like the Giants could use Lorenzo Cain. He would be a perfect fit on the Giants.
Yeah, I can see that. It's just you look at the Giants aren't really linked to him. I mean, so Lorenzo is exactly the player. I mean, it's just I wish there was some more buzz around these players, but there's nobody.
We know more about the teams at this point that are definite buyers. I mean,
yeah.
Giants,
Cardinals are still looking for a third baseman.
I just don't see why you would go around, go back. If he was to go back to Kansas City, that team is not good. Not anymore.
Yeah, no. I mean, in the since the end of last year, they lost who? Hosmer, Moustakas,
Lorenzo Cain,
and Alcides Escobar, who's not really a huge loss, but.
I mean, they lost Yordano Ventura. He died. R.I.P.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that's such a sad story.
Yeah, I mean, the same type of thing with Jose Fernandez. You think if Jose Fernandez didn't die, that the Marlins would be selling like this?
are two really
Young, up and coming
good
stars.
young phenoms.
Yeah. But you got some like I feel like it was kind of like a dead winter, winter meetings. There wasn't too much that went on per se. It was more so like, hey, a couple relievers got signed, some minor things.
It was just a bunch of like club building. It wasn't really.
I mean, the Marcelo Ozuna should have been bigger.
Waves being made.
But what did they get for Marcelo Ozuna? Marcelo Ozuna trade was actually pretty big, but at the end of the day, like I said, what did they get?
They got that Sierra kid from Cardinals. Really, really, really good defender. Really quick. He has some contact skills, but the hitting is far behind the defense and the speed at this point.
Yeah.
They think Alcantara, who he has potential. He does have a lot of potential, but he's also not really a top tier pitching prospect. So for Marcelo Ozuna, I mean it's a good haul. It's not a great haul for a guy that just posted 37 home runs, but
and 120 something RBIs. But
He's a great player.
and a 900 OPS.
yeah.
I mean, that kind of guy that's the kind of guy you pick up to build around,
Yeah, I mean, you feel like if the Cardinals acquire somebody else from somebody, that they're looking pretty prime with Marcelo Ozuna.
Yeah, I think if you add Mike Moustakas to that team,
They look good now.
Realistically,
that's a contender in the NL.
yeah.
Without anybody else. So yeah.
I just feel like the NL is so stacked right now that they're gonna be teams duking it out in the for the wild card spot.
I mean, it's the Dodgers, the Cubs, and the Nats are all.
Yeah, I mean the
Gonna make
Nats
World
look really
Series
good right
contenders.
now too. If they sign Wade Davis, man, I don't see how the Mets really catch them all too much.
Who the Mets catching the Nationals?
Yeah, if they sign Wade Davis.
Oh, it's not about catching the Nationals. The Mets
Yeah.
are not going to catch the Nationals unless
Yeah.
they have an enormous collapse.
Yeah. Which,
There's
I mean,
no
that
chance
is a
the Mets are
Nationals
gonna
thing to
match
do.
up with the Nationals.
Underachieve.
We got the pitching. That's got to stay healthy.
And if the Mets pitching stays healthy, if Harvey bounces back, if Matt bounces back, if everyone pitches their potential, then the Mets are a 90-win team just on that alone.
Yeah.
But how likely is that to happen?
And how likely is it the
Rom's
Nationals
the
not to
best
win
thing.
more than 90 games?
Ethan, are they going to be all healthy on opening day? Probably not.
No, I highly doubt that even half of them are going to be healthy.
Well, you already know Conforto's going to, even though he's not a pitcher, but, he's already linked to not going to be active opening day roster.
Right. I mean, there are a lot of questions about the health of this ball club. I mean, how likely is Yoenis Cespedes to last over a full season?
I mean, I think that man needs to start doing yoga or something, man, because
What other team has to deal with the type of injuries that the Mets do? No one.
the New York Giants. That's besides the point. That's besides the point.
Year-long injuries for these guys, it seems like every single player is just out for extended periods of time.
It happens every year.
And I think the Mets need to look at their training staff. You know what I'm saying?
Michael Conforto tore his shoulder by swinging a baseball bat.
Trainers or something. They gotta figure something out.
Wilmer Flores fouled off a ball and broke his face. So
I mean, something the Mets would do, man.
it's Mets baseball is what it is.
Yeah.
Ray Ramirez has been the trainer for about for a decade or more at this point.
That guy, he's gone.
Yeah, Ray Ramirez needs to be something taken behind the shed. You know what I mean, man? Just send out the city.
There's nothing confirmed, but the Yankees, they are trying to add a starting pitcher, whether it be Michael Fulmer, Garrett Cole, Patrick Corbin, whoever. It's just
Dontrell Willis.
who?
Dontrell Willis.
Who's that?
No.
Do you know who Dontrell Willis is?
I do not.
You don't know D-Train.
It's old Marlins lefty. Dontrell Willis.
The wacky pitching motion? Wow.
I don't know.
I guess a little younger for D-Train. We
Dontrell
were young
Willis.
D-Train.
I
So.
don't know who that
What,
is,
yeah,
but I'll look him
good.
up.
Dontrelle Willis was in the Miguel Cabrera trade from the Marlins
He was
to
on
the
the 2003
Tigers.
World Series winning Marlins.
Oh, okay. I see what. Okay, yeah.
He had a few really brief stints where he was a very good starting pitcher, but it didn't really last. He was another guy who could hit a home run here or there.
Yeah, he had a 2-home run game against the Mets once in 2005 when he won 20 games, I think.
But he just had a very wacky motion, and he's just a very rememberable.
He won 22 games in 2005. Came in second in Cy Young. Who won the Cy Young that year, 2005? Chris Carpenter. What a name.
Yep, great pitcher.
Wow. How long has it been since his
Dontrelle
name has been thrown around?
Yeah, he's
Who won in 2006? Was it Brandon Webb?
2006?
Yeah, the year after that.
I'm not too sure. Let me check.
Interesting.
MVP was Justin Morneau. Derek Jeter came in second. Cy Young. Cy Young was AL Cy Young. You got to guess who AL Cy Young was.
In 06? Verlander?
Nah, man. Johan Santana, bro.
Oh, it was Santana.
And who came in second? Chang Mang Wang from the New York Yankees. And yeah, Brandon Webb did win.
It was Webb.
Yeah, Trevor Hoffman came in second.
Verlander win the Cy Young in 07 then in the AL?
No.
Was he late?
Wasn't it? No. Wait, hold on. CC. I think 2010 Verlander won it.
My memory's way off then.
Yeah, 2007 was CC.
2007 was the Milwaukee Brewers year. No,
yeah.
Was that Wade?
Tim Lincecum, man. 2008. 2008 was Cliff Lee in Cleveland.
Cliff Lee had that amazing year in Cleveland.
Zach Greinke, the Royals. Ooh.
That stint that CC had with the Milwaukee Brewers was the best pitching.
Yeah.
4 straight complete games on 3 days rest or something like that.
Remember when Jared Weaver was relevant? Felix Hernandez won in 2010. 2011, Verlander won.
Jared Weaver.
Do you remember Jeff Weaver, Harley?
I do not.
He was a Yankee pitcher also on the 2003 Yanks who do nothing but give up homers, give up a game-winning home run in one of the games in the 03 World Series.
Diamondbacks?
Florida.
Was it No. Who did they play in 2003?
Marlins.
When did they play the Diamondbacks and lost?
0-1.
Oh. Yeah,
Luis
bro, I was like
Gonzalez,
4 years old.
Luis Gonzalez.
Now I'm gonna ask a couple questions here regarding the top free agents left. Now I want to know where you guys think realistically they're gonna land. Like Yu Darvish, I know he's been linked to the Rangers, linked to the Twins. I just want to know what you guys think.
I don't really know how I feel about Darvish. Obviously, he's really talented, but
since he's broke out in the majors, I feel like every year he got a little worse.
I can totally see him being a huge free agent signing that could kind of fizzle out
for the Twins.
And then not even fizzle out. He could still be a serviceable pitcher, but I don't know if he would ever live up to like a $25 million a year contract.
I mean, I could see the Twins trying to, build off of last year, sign him. I could see him going back to the Rangers. I heard the Rangers want to bring him back and maybe Jake Arrieta with him. I'm not too sure.
I could totally see the Rangers re-signing Darvish. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Now, do you see the Rangers re-signing Darvish and bringing in another pitcher like Lance Lynn or Jake Arrieta?
Probably not Arrieta unless they're shelling out a lot of money. I mean, I could totally see. I could see Lance Lynn. I could see someone like Lance Lynn. Maybe. I don't really know what else. Maybe like Jaime Garcia.
I mean,
not really a whole lot brewing in the starting pitching market at this point.
No, you got like Brett Anderson, could be a number 5. Bronson Arroyo, who
Vargas, maybe. I mean, he had a horrible second half, but
Bronson Arroyo, who you need to go take behind the shed.
Bronson Arroyo is still pitching.
Bartolo Colon, Scott Feldman, Gallardo,
Dickey,
Matt Garza, Miguel Gonzalez. I think Miguel Gonzalez had actually a pretty good year last year. I know he was.
He had some good little stretches.
Miguel Gonzalez. Last year, Let me see. Where's his stats before I start talking crazy? No, he was terrible last year. I thought he was good for the White Sox in the beginning of the year, wasn't he? Right?
I mean, he had some good stretches, but he was never really consistently good.
Yeah. I mean, last year. Yeah. See, last year he was pretty decent. In the beginning of the year, and then kind of sucked. He was really good in July. Yeah. There's nothing really on the free agent starting pitching market behind Yu Darvish, Jake Arrieta. I mean,
Lance Lynn and Cobb are there, but
yeah, but those aren't like top tier guys.
Cashner, Jaime Garcia,
Cashner, you probably get
Vargas are
a
pretty
low
much
contract.
like the three best.
Yeah, there's nobody really there. Now,
that would be my top three out of the next group.
Mm-hmm. So now I think we're in agreement. JD Martinez probably signs with Boston.
Yep. Darvish, I'd say Rangers make the most sense, in my opinion.
Mm. Now Eric Hosmer is a peculiar case because he might go to Boston. You never know. You don't know what he wants. I hear that he's linked heavily to the Padres, but why would you go to the Padres? I'm not too sure what to think of him. I mean, he might go back to Kansas City. You never know. He just seems like one of those guys, you know.
He's a guy that I think like just some random team comes out of nowhere and snatches him up.
Yeah, I mean, you put him on the Padres, they look a lot better. You know, they just got back Chase Headley. They have young Hervis Solarte.
They just traded for Freddie Galvis from the Phillies.
They did.
Yeah, I mean, over the last two seasons, the Padres are dead last in the MLB in shortstop defensive run saved, and UZR.
Now, what happened 2 years ago or was it 3 years ago, when they had Justin Upton, Matt Kemp, and Will Myers out there, man?
They just, I mean, it was kind of predictable that they just weren't good.
Yeah, I mean, they were terrible.
You were really pumped about it, but they gave up a lot of talent in those deals.
They did. I mean, they didn't give up. I mean,
at the time.
Well, Will Myers, to get Will Myers, who did they give up? That trade was terrible.
Myers, they gave up Trey Turner in that deal.
Yeah, they gave up Trey Turner and I feel like a couple other prospects, and the Rays gave up what's his face? Didn't they give up Joe Ross? No, they gave up Joe Ross too. They gave up Trey Turner, Joe Ross.
Yeah, the Padres gave up Joe Ross as well.
And the Rays gave up Will Myers, and the Nationals somehow.
Yeah, they gave Steven Souza Jr.
Yeah, and got freaking Trey Turner and Joe Ross and I think another prospect, and everybody else got shit. I mean, the Padres made out well. I mean, they got Will Myers, who's pretty decent. But, I mean, the Rays, I don't even know. They traded freaking they traded Will Myers for Steve Souza Jr. I don't get it.
Steven Souza Jr. is a good little player. I actually like him a lot. He has a lot of untapped potential.
But compared to Will Myers, though, like straight up, basically, like essentially it was straight up Will Myers for Steven Souza Jr.
Yes.
Which I would never do, but whatever.
I mean, it's also a different. I mean, it just kind of depends. They're both kind of weird players. Will Myers was really, really good, but he also wasn't really in a terrible second half last year. And if you look at Steven Souza Jr., I mean, look at his year last year. He had 30 home runs, 16 steals. He had 240, yeah, but he had a 350 OBP, an 810 OPS, and he had a 3.7 FWAR.
Mm.
That's a great year.
True.
That's the first year he was healthy, and compare that to what Will Myers did, and I'd probably take that. True. And Will Myers is a very good player, and he's always been a favorite player of mine as well. I've been advocating the Mets trade for him for a long time, but I mean, look at Will Myers. Will Myers had a slightly higher slugging percentage. He had 30 home runs, 20 steals. Again, a really good year, but he had 240, 330 OBP, and only a 1 FWAR.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're right, but it just seems like it's just like, why does the Nationals get all the good players out of that?
Yeah, how do they end up with like a franchise shortstop and like a 3-4 pitcher?
Yeah, right. But we'll get on with the free agents. Lorenzo Cain.
You want to know why? Because Mets.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, probably. Everything's the Mets' fault.
I remember seeing that trade and just thinking to myself, why?
I mean, Mets could have traded for Will Myers for that clause.
I mean, at the time, that's what if you said. I mean,
could have gave up Nimmo at that time for Will Myers, probably.
Well, Steven Souza Jr. was also he was ready to play for the Rays when
True.
they traded for him. His first year with the Rays was actually pretty good too. He was just injured. I mean, his first year with the Rays, he hit 300 almost, 293.
Yeah, I mean, would you rather have him or Trey Turner?
Who? Steven Souza or Trey Turner? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong. This is Will Myers. Steven Souza Jr. did not hit.
He had like 236, I think, right?
Yeah, no, his first year with the Rays was not that good. He had 225. Never mind.
225. Yeah, no. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
No, I'm wrong.
Mulligan. Now, getting on with next, Lorenzo Cain.
Cut that out.
San Francisco. Are we in agreement? He could potentially go there. I think I'm starting to lean more with you that Lorenzo Cain could be in San Francisco.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it gives them it just gives them another presence on that team that they desperately need.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Cain can hit you 15 home runs, steal you 15 bases, play good defense for now in center field.
Yeah.
But he's another guy who's getting older, and while I would love him to be on the Mets right now, for what it would cost, 4 years, probably like 70, 80 million.
I think more closer to 60. But I could be wrong.
I mean,
I think I lowball players a lot.
Like a 4-WAR center field, that'll get you I think close to 20 mil. Like 470.
Yeah, you're
470
right.
would be fair for him.
You're right. Now, Wade Davis, I'm saying Nats. I don't know what you think about the subject.
I think it makes the most sense. I think the Nationals definitely need something in that bullpen that they don't have currently. And Wade Davis presents the best opportunity to upgrade that immediately.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, cost a lot. Probably too much, as these big reliever deals don't really work out. I mean, not that I still think Chapman is a solid deal, and Kenley Jansen looks great, but Mark Melancon fell apart immediately.
Well, Mark Melancon was like 30-something years old when he signed that, which I don't understand. I wouldn't have gave him that money.
Well, yeah, and Wade Davis is definitely elite and has much better peripherals than Mark Melancon ever did, but the Nationals would be a horrible spot for me, but definitely a spot that
makes more sense for the league, for the Nationals.
And not only does it make a lot of sense, but it would be a really good strategic move by the Nationals.
Because they really struggled with that last year.
I think it's either the Cubs or the Nationals for Wade Davis.
I mean, yeah, I could see him going back to the Cubs, but I mean, the Nationals are just so right there that it's just it makes so much sense. Because they need an elite closer. If they have an elite closer, I honestly think they can go toe to toe with the Dodgers.
The Nationals just need to get over the choke factor.
Yeah.
They need to start winning in the playoffs for anything to really matter.
Yeah. Now, Mike Moustakas, kind of like a little wild card there. A ton of teams after him. None really that hot right now, but you were saying the Cardinals make the most sense, which I can agree with that. If they can't swing a trade, maybe they sign him. But they aren't really known to be signing older players to hefty contracts. I mean, he's not. I mean, I don't know what his annual average value would be, but I'm probably close to 20 mil. A lot of these guys that we're talking about right now.
Most of these upper echelon
in the class,
20 mil a year, I think.
But at the end of the day, you really see the Cardinals shelling out the dough for Mike Moustakas?
I mean, I could if they really think that it's. And I do think that it would really make them a big threat.
I think so too. Like that, adding that with Marcell Ozuna. I mean, they already have a couple good boppers in that lineup. I mean, they already traded Piscotty, but they replaced him with Ozuna. Then they have Grichuk still. Who else? Matt Carpenter. De Jong really came out for shortstop. They traded away. What's his face?
Just traded away Piscotty.
Yeah. No, they traded Piscotty and they traded away that shortstop to the Blue Jays. What was his name? He broke out a couple years ago.
No, Aldemus Diaz.
Yeah, that's whatever his name is. Alcides Diaz. Aldemus Diaz. They traded him to the Blue Jays. He broke out. Pretty good hitter. Now they have De Jong playing there, and they still have what's his face? Their second baseman. Colton Wong. Even though he hasn't been the player that they hoped he would be, he still has some potential there.
They have Jed Gallego at
and they have
base.
Dustin.
I mean, they have a nice little team.
Dustin Fowler.
Team with Marcell Ozuna in the outfield. Now they have Fowler,
Ozuna, and Grichuk.
Fowler, Ozuna.
Grichuk might play first. I'm not too sure.
No, yeah, it's not gonna be Grichuk. It's gonna be who is the guy that broke out for them?
Let me look.
I'm totally blanking on his name.
Let's take a look, because I'm not too sure.
He had a phenomenal year.
Tommy Pham,
that's it.
Yeah, he probably plays center field, right?
Pham was awesome.
Yeah, he was. And they got a lot of young pitching, like Luke Weaver, Alex Reyes, Jose Martinez. Who else? And that team is on the. I mean, I could see them being a pretty good team next year if they could just bring in one more player. They are linked to Josh Donaldson, Manny Machado, but if they can't.
That's what I'm saying. If they're really serious about making an upgrade at third base, one of those guys. I mean, they wouldn't trade for Manny Machado for a season.
Well, I mean, they're still linked to him. I mean, it depends.
I don't think either of those are going to work out. I think Toronto's still serious about
trying to contend,
building a good team there, and the Orioles. I mean, it would make sense, but I could if that doesn't work out, I could totally see Moustakas being a really good get for them that could push them over the top from being just a potential wildcard team to being an actual contender for the NL Central and maybe more.
Yeah.
So I still don't think they'd have enough firepower to compete with the Dodgers, Nationals, and poor Cubs, but that's still a very good team.
So now, moving on, we got Jay Bruce, Todd Frazier. Two, I would say, more of the lower tier type of guys. Not going to really break the bank on these guys. But, very solid, very good clubhouse guys. Jay Bruce, I'm thinking maybe resigns with the Indians. We talked about that. Especially if they trade Kipnis, like you said, they might try to bring him back. And then Todd Frazier, I mean, I can see the Mets signing him. I wouldn't be too surprised. I don't think he goes back to the Yankees because the Yankees aren't willing to commit to him for more than 1 year.
I think he's going to get 3 or 4 years, which I don't think the Mets are going to be very inclined to do. I think Asdrubal Cabrera is their third baseman set in stone going forward, which I'm perfectly okay with. He's still a very solid hitter, but they don't really seem to be pursuing any third baseman really that much. I know they've been linked to Frazier a little bit.
Yeah.
Or rumors of Moustakas earlier in the offseason, but they've really gone all in on trying to get a second baseman. So I think it makes the most sense for them to just leave Cabrera there and go after. I think Kipnis would be awesome.
Yeah, but who knows what they want for Kipnis right now. I mean, obviously, they've been in serious discussion for about 2 days now, and we're not really getting any more reports other than that.
I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen sooner rather than later because the Indians presumably want to open up some space for a Jay Bruce type signing to replace Carlos Santana.
Yeah.
I could see. I mean, I don't know who the Mets would give up theoretically, but maybe one of their lower end starting pitchers, Zellman. Hopefully not Lugo. Maybe Montero plus. But that would be a great get for the Mets. I think if he bounces back and he's healthy. Plays
Yeah.
a very good second base. Can get you double-digit home runs and steals. He's just a good guy to have out there. He's a smart player.
Yeah. Now, Lance Lynn is also a name thrown out a lot. Had a very good year last year. Relatively young. You don't really like Rangers are eyeing him. Baltimore is a good spot. I mean, if they're really thinking about going all in, they could sign him. Other than that, he's not really linked to many teams other than the Rangers and the Orioles. Brewers are one too. Brewers. Other than that, that's really it. I mean, Brewers came up last year. I mean, I can see the NL Central being really crazy this year if the Brewers can get him or Cobb or Arrieta. If that that would sting. Bringing Arrieta to the Brewers, that would sting for the Cubs.
That's something I can see too.
Yeah.
The Brewers making a play for Arrieta or Lance Lynn.
Yeah, I mean, Lance Lynn is very, very, very well reported to the Brewers right now. I mean, I'm going through articles and it's just Brewers. So, what are you gonna do?
Arrieta, I just don't know what his market's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You think the Cubs would re-sign him? I'm not too sure about it. I feel like the Cubs would rather. I mean, they got Tyler Chatwood. They're making. They're like, hey.
Tyler Chatwood. Now that's a signing that I think could actually pay big dividends.
Well,
he's not really great, but
because he's from
on the road last year, he had a 3.5 ERA.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna be solid, and I mean, think about this.
That's a good pickup.
Has he been that good? No. He played in Coors Field. Give him that. But you think about this. When Arrieta got to the Cubs from the Baltimore, man, Arrieta was shit.
Yeah, he was really bad.
Like, if you look at Arrieta's earlier numbers when he was in Baltimore,
he was always a highly touted prospect, but
Arrieta's numbers in Baltimore, he had a 4.66 ERA, a 5.05 ERA, 6.2 ERA, a 4.7 ERA, and a 7.2 ERA. And then in 2013, the second half of that year, he got traded to the Cubs, and then he was a 3.66 ERA. Next year, full year, started 25 games, 253, came in top 9, Cy Young. Next year, he won the Cy Young. So, I mean, coming to the Cubs, Arrieta has pitched phenomenally. Like I don't know, man. That's pretty crazy stat line right there if you think about it.
It is, but his last 2 years have also been significantly worse than his first 2 full years.
Yes, I agree, because his first full 2 years, he had a 2.53 and a 1.77 ERA. Then, solid year, 2016.
His FIP last year was 4.16. That's...
Yeah, that's pretty bad. And he had a 3.53 ERA.
It's not terrible. I mean, I'm not saying
He started 30 games.
He's definitely a very good starting pitcher.
Think about this. He started 30 games, right? He only pitched 168 innings. What does that tell you?
I mean, it's not even 6 innings start.
No, it's not. I mean, that's pretty bad. But I mean, that's pretty much that's pretty much it with the free agent market. I mean, you got dark horses like Eduardo Nunez, who could be a really good player for somebody, or Jonathan Lucroy, on the down year last year.
I think Neil Walker could be a really good pickup. I mean, if the Mets want to just settle for Neil Walker, I'd be okay.
Yeah.
For a year or two.
Neil Walker, I could see that. He's a really good guy. I thought the Angels would have signed him because that would make a lot of sense to me. Instead of Cozart, I probably would have picked up Neil Walker just because he's a switch hitter.
Well, apparently, if Ian Kinsler was okay with accepting a trade to the Mets, then that might have actually happened, because the Mets were very hot on Ian Kinsler and had an offer on the table for the Tigers, but Ian Kinsler was not interested in waiving his no-trade clause for the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, it was said that he was not interested in the Angels either, or the Yankees, or pretty much any contender, it looked like. But obviously, I guess maybe that report was false. I'm not too sure.
Apparently, the Angels were the only team that he was willing to waive his no-trade clause for.
I mean, to each their own. But you got on a good team with probably the best player in baseball, best player the last 20 years. So good for him. But I mean, other than that, I mean, Jonathan Lucroy on a 1-year deal for some team that needs a catcher. I don't know, you know. But that's
there's some good options out there. I still think Todd Frazier could be a really good, not really under the radar. I think his signing would make some waves, but or like maybe Carlos Gomez.
Yeah, I mean, he had a really rejuvenant year last year. I think he had like 250 something, had like over 20 stolen bases, to my knowledge. But I mean, other than that, I mean, we pretty much covered a lot of stuff here. So we're probably gonna end it here. I mean, it was a good little rundown of the winter meetings. I mean, we got
just a little discussion about stuff going on.
Oh yeah. So if you guys made it this far, we really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, sub, and leave a comment. Talk to baseball. Talk some baseball with me. Talk to baseball with us. Big shout out to Sam for coming out here and talking with me. Big shout out. We're really big baseball guys.
Man.
One of my best friends. So I really like that. Maybe we could do more of these. You guys let us know. If anything, I could bring him weekly maybe, depending how you guys receive this. I mean, not too bad. I just want to say thanks, guys. And that's pretty much it. We're going to be signing off. Peace.
See ya.